Hello, welcome back. We are now doing a new tutorial, and this time we're doing a tutorial that's a bit more practical, a bit more purposeful, in the sense that we will create a Rubik cube. So the Rubik cube is one of these absolutely puzzling and amazing. It was a toy, and it was developed by a Hungarian inventor, and it's been famous worldwide. So it's a very interesting object to model. Right, so it's a cube, and we need to get the texture to apply. So what we're going to apply is a texture called Rubik cube texture. So we download it from the internet by just typing Rubik cube, Rubik, and then further cube, and then net, and we get this picture. We download it, and now we can start playing around with our model and creating a Rubik cube. So the first thing we need to do, as always, is to create a basic object. So in this case, we're going to create, we only have to create one, which is a box. Of course, the box is not a cube, but we could just click on the cube options, or we can just, so we can do it like this, and then increase, and then change the value here, or if you prefer, we can do this, and then we can create one here, and it's constrained in all the three ways. It's either way the same story. So we want 500 by 500 by 500, and that's our cube. So the next thing we need to do, we need to convert it. So we can't just use the cube as it is, we need to convert it. So we convert it by right clicking on the object itself and converting it into editable poly. So remember, convert to editable poly area. We're going to change the name, so we call it cube 1, Rubik cube, because that's what it is, Rubik cube. Okay, and that's our Rubik cube. So we created an editable poly, and now we're going to start applying materials and things to it. So the first thing to do, of course, is to call the material editor, and we call the material editor by pressing the key M, and we have the material editor popping up. Now don't worry, if you press the letter M and nothing appears, it happens sometimes. It's Windows for you. It happens to me quite often. It's very frustrating, but it's nothing wrong, because M is a material editor. There's nothing else to do to it. So we have our material editor, so we make sure we're in a compact mode, which is the mode that we generally use. Make sure we have a standard set of material. We make sure that we're going to diffuse, and then we click on that. We're going to have a bitmap, and we're going to search by name, and we confirm this, and then we have to specify our bitmap. So in our case, it's in the downloads. It's a good idea to always remember where your files are, and it's this one, Rubik's cube. So we open that, and we should have the material, as in, sorry, the texture of the Rubik cube appearing in the material, which we can see in this sphere here. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So now that we have that, we can do a few things. We can assign the material to the object. So we select our object and we assign. And second, we make sure it's visible. And then we have this. What we have now, of course, is not the perfect Rubik cube. It's just a cube with this weird texture that we will need to edit. And make sure you have the tiling in 1, so it doesn't go into 2 or 3. Because when you go to 2, for example, this is what happens. We have 2 of these, and if you put 2 here, you have 2 of these, which we don't want. That we want 1 on each. So 1 texture mapped into 1 surface. And then we're going to start making some specific editing to it in a minute. So now what we have done this, we move to the next phase, which is to open the UV editor. And to do that, we need first to go to the modifier, and in the modifier list we have the editable poly, which is not what you want. We add another modifier, which is the unwrap UVW. So we look for unwrap UVW, and here it is, unwrap UVW. We click on that. Now we have this added. We need to open this one, which is the unwrap UVW editor modifier, sorry, not the editable poly modifier. So the unwrap UVW, we make sure it's a poly, and then what we can do, we can just open it. We open the UV editor here. We can close the material editor at the moment, so we can minimize it or close it. And we can start having fun. So first we need to make sure that the texture that appears on our UVW editor is the texture that we are interested in, which is the Rubik Cube texture. That's the first thing. The second thing we need to do is to make sure we select the right polygon and we start doing things. So we're going to say that this polygon here is the one that's going to be orange. So we click on this, and then we go to the free, we scroll out, and then we go for the free form mode, and we start scaling. First we start scaling things. What we're doing, we're scaling down our shape so that it matches the part of the pattern that we're interested, part of the texture that we're interested in. In this particular case, we want our, so we want something like this. So give a little bit of black edge on each side. So you have to be a bit heavier. So now this side is orange. Now this side is going to be green. So we click on this and you apply the same story, but this time it's on the green one that we want it centered. Sorry, we want it centered on the green. So we move it to match more or less the green. Then we scale it. Then we zoom in. So again we need a little bit of here. Is it green or is it yellow? It's green. Yeah, it's green, what am I saying? And then we have this more or less in the middle. Here we are. And then what we have on one side orange, on one side green. Then the next one we need red, so we click here, and it's again the same business. We make it, we put it centered here. So you have to respect the order, because the Rubik Cube has a certain order of the colors on each side. So you have to make sure you're respecting that order. Here, and then here, and that should give us red. And if we look around here, indeed we have orange, green, red, and then the last one is blue, so on this side, and it's the same business again. So we put it here, and then we scale it down, and then we make sure it's aligned. And then that should give us, yeah, and then here we are. So we have orange, green, red, blue, and then we need on the top, so we have, where is green? Here. So we need at the top white and at the bottom yellow. So we go to the top and we do again the same story. We scale the thing up. So we put it on the white. Sorry. Sorry. And we scale it to the right size. So we make sure it's neat. Here we are. And here we are. So now we've done the white at the top, and then we need to do the yellow at the bottom. So we click on this, and again where's the yellow is at the bottom. Here we do that roughly, and then we scroll in to make sure we got it right. And like this, and like this, and that's basically it. So now we have our cube, which is with the right colors. So we have white, green, red, blue, orange, and yellow. So that's the cube that we have. So what we can do, sorry. So we've done our Rubik cube, and here it is. So we can save it. So if it goes file, so you can close this, the UVW editor, and you can go to file and we save, and this time it's example 2. Okay, so example 20 will do, and that basically is save, and that's it. We've created the Rubik cube, which you can look at here. We can close all this, and we can have a look at this. Yeah, here's our cube. Yeah, so you can create a new cube or do something else, or whatever you want to do. But here it is, our Rubik cube masterpiece. Thank you very much. Save again, and that's it. Thank you.